This is QTV News. I am Mariette Sidibe. Our top stories. Marabu murders and mutilated woman. Talending resident allegedly murdered during fight over payment to Marabu. Sana Sabali admits responsibility for November 11th executions, but he apologized for the wrongdoings. TRRC lead counsel briefs press. Issa Fall addresses prison PRO's comments at Mafuji land issue. Those are our top stories, and now the news in detail. The Gambia Police Force, through its Public Relations Office, on Tuesday told reporters at a press briefing that one Mama Barrow had gone to see Boubacar Jallow in Banjulinding, where she met her death. Mama Barrow was allegedly murdered by a Marabu called Boubacar Jallow, who cut her into pieces and disposed of her remains in 3 bags. Babukar C has the rest of that story.
According to the police spokesperson ASP Laminjai, Mama Barrow went missing on Sunday, March 10th after leaving her house in Talinding. This is according to a complaint lodged at the Talinding police station by the victim's sister Bintu Barrow. The Marabu, one Boubacar Jallow, told the police he fought with Mama Barrow after a disagreement over money she owed him. When he realized that Mama had died in the struggle, he decided to cut her into pieces, put the remains in 3 bags and hired one Lamin Marong, a taxi driver, to dispose of the victim's remains.
Bearing in mind the fact that when this report came, the Gambia Police Force, keeping its record, had understood that a case was reported at Talending Police Station, where somebody by the name Bintu Barrow had reported that their sister, Mama Barrow, had been missing since on the 10th of March, and he was never seen since then. And the police was able to connect the dots and expanded on the investigation. And then when they expanded the investigation, questions were raised, and then the family was able to tell that most of the time, or oftentimes, when Mama goes out, she usually visits a Marabu by the name Boubacar Jallow, who resides at Banjulinding. And even though they may not be sure if she was out to visit this Marabu, but they believe that oftentimes when she's out, she usually visits this Marabu. And then time went on, the police continued intensifying their search. They continued searching until they were able to understand that this suspect by the name, this Marabu Boubacar Jallow, is hiding somewhere. And the body that was recovered has got something to do with the report that was done at Banjulinding. And efforts were made with the little resources the Gambia Police Force has, but yet they put in a lot of human resources and efforts into this to ensure that they get to the bottom of this situation.
ASP Lamin Jai continued that after the murder, the suspect quickly moved to Batokunku to hide. He was later located and arrested by the police, who took him through a series of interrogations, eventually revealing what he claims transpired between him and Mama Barrow. Lamin Jai again.
We came to understand from Boubacar Jallow that Mama, of course, is true, as the family had put, that she usually visits him anytime she is out, and that he was able to confirm that Mama came to his house on the 10th of March, as slated before. And what happened was, when Mama visited him at his house, already there was an issue of monetary transactions. Some cash transactions were in between him and Mama. And because of this, he was it was like Mama was owing him some money up to an amount of $150,000. And this $150,000 was what he was requesting from Mama at the time. But it happens that Mama was, in his own opinion, Mama was not giving him sufficient explanation as to the whereabouts of this cash amount of $150,000. And then a fight ensued in between him and Mama, where he beat Mama on the, he hit Mama on the head, somewhere on the back of the head, and then she fell down. And according to him, when she fell down, knowing that Mama is somebody with a hefty build, he decided to jump on her while she fell down on the ground and hold on her neck and throat. And then the pressure and all of that resulted to Mama suffocating and dying as a result of the handling that he was doing of her neck on the ground. When the lady died, eventually she was like left with no option as to what to do about the body. And in this situation, something clicked on, and that is he was having a knife at hand in the room, and then some wild imaginations came up, which resulted him taking this knife, mutilating the body, cutting it into pieces for the purpose of being able to dispose it conveniently.
The police PRO, Lamin Jai, thanked the taxi driver, Lamin Marong, who he said acted as a patriot, to report the case to the nearest police station. He called on Gambians to be police officers of their own, as this, he said, will help the work of the police in carrying out their duties. Babu Karsi, QTV News.
Former junta vice chairman Sana Sabali Wednesday told commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission that he ordered and participated in the execution of Lieutenant Basiru Barrow, Dotfal and other officers arrested in the aftermath of the November 11th foil coup. He also admitted, amongst others, allegations of ordering and participating in the torture of detainees at Mile 2 prison in September 1994. QTV's Ansumana Isenyasi reports.
Former AFPRC Junta Vice Chairman Sanabi Sabali Wednesday admitted responsibility for the November 11 executions and admitted allegations of torture levied against him. He was testifying at the ongoing Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission's public proceedings. His testimony was in relation to the July 22, 1994 coup, the torture of civilian drivers by his entourage, the torture of security detainees at Mile 2 prison on the 6th of September 1994, his knowledge and alleged participation in the November 11 executions, and his subsequent victimization. Testifying on the July 22, 1994 coup, the witness alleged he initiated the idea of a military takeover and confided in Lieutenant Edward Singate, who immediately embraced the idea and thus the involvement of officers like Yaya Jame, Yankuba Ture, and Saribu Haidara.
The last straw that broke the camel's back was once I was in a taxi coming from Banyun to Brikamo, and then it was 5 o'clock. BBC Focus on Africa, Robin White at the time, and then he posed a question: which country has its defense in the hands of another foreign country? And then when the answer came, it was like with laughter. I felt disgraced because I was in uniform in the taxi. And from there on, I said to myself, we have to look at this situation properly. We cannot continue the way we are in the military. And then I started to talk to Edward Singate. And then we started looking at it together. We put our heads together. It took some time, of course.
When did that happen?
This would be 7 months to July 22nd.
Good, proceed.
And along that line, we had to open up to the people or the soldiers and officers whom we felt we could approach and understand our point of view.
On the allegation that he unlawfully arrested, humiliated, and ordered for the detention of senior officers like then police AIG Chongan a few days after the takeover, the witness admitted they were maltreated and apologized for his actions, but alleged they were subjected to such treatment because council received intelligence that they were allegedly plotting to overthrow the AFPRC regime.
As far as you know, did any council member stop the activity from happening, the torturing from happening?
No.
So you accept that all of you are responsible?
I am responsible.
I know you have accepted your personal responsibility. I am now talking about your collective responsibility as members of the council who were present there and oversaw your own orderlies torturing those 3 detainees.
As humanly as possible, I believe if they were here, they would accept also their responsibility collectively.
You believe that they are responsible?
Collectively, yes, and individually.
Are you prepared to apologize to these people, Ibrahim Chongan, Mamad Cham, and RSM Jeng?
I will not hesitate to correct myself when I find I have made a mistake, and I have made a mistake. And I'm prepared to apologize to all of them wholeheartedly.
I want to believe that all of them would be watching or would watch later. You have an opportunity to talk to them.
Major Chongan Ibrahima, Mama Cham, Major Mama Cham, W2 Babakar Gomez, Babakar Jeng, I am wholeheartedly saying I am sorry and I'm asking for forgiveness.
Further testifying, the witness accused he was responsible for the execution of late Lieutenant Basiru Barrow, Abdullah Dolfal, and other officers who were accused of plotting to overthrow the junta on the 10th of November 1994 at Fajara Barracks, the forest in Brikama and Sifo.
Tell us what happened when they were paraded.
We removed the head of the snake and the body was useless. This is a military term.
You executed the head of the snake?
Completely.
Can you tell us how that happened?
I stood the soldiers and told them, we have to kill Barrow and Dotfal. They were the ringleaders. Here we were concerned only for the ringleaders at this particular point in time.
So they were secluded?
Yes.
And then what happened?
We shot them. And I personally, I initiated the shooting.
Asked what he makes of the allegations that his entourage had on several occasions busted car tires and tortured civilians accused of obstructing his convoy as vice chairman of the AFPRC, the witness admitted the allegations and apologized for the actions of his orderlies. At this juncture, a woman by the name Aloba, who was allegedly shot by Sabali's entourage in 1995, was asked to make a short statement in relation to her ordeal. She told the commission she would only forgive the witness if he agrees to compensate her. Meanwhile, the witness has publicly apologized to her. Sabali, who has been adversely mentioned by multiple TRC witnesses, will reappear on Thursday to continue with his testimony. Ansumana Isonyasi for KTV News.
24th April marks Republican Day. It was on this day in 1970 that the President replaced the Queen of Britain as head of state of the Gambia. The move to become a republic had been approved by more than 70% of the electorate in a referendum. Momodo Gajaga reports.
The Gambia achieved a Republican sovereign status on the 24th April 1970, following a majority-approved referendum. The country gained its independence from the UK in 1965 as a constitutional monarchy within the British Commonwealth. The Queen's constitutional roles were delegated to the Governor-General, and serving this role at the time was Sir Ferryman Singate, who had succeeded Sir John Warburton Paul in 1966. On 24 April 1970, Chief Justice Philip Bridge declares the Gambia as a sovereign state, and Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara became the first president of the Republic. The first referendum, just after independence in 1965, seeking approval from the people to abolish the monarchy, failed to reach the two-thirds majority needed to pass. The second attempt in 1970 won over more than 70% of Gambian people. And the new independent constitution got rid of the position of prime minister and inaugurated the presidency. The thundering crowd thronged the Makati Square on Republic Day to witness the swearing-in ceremony and hear the president address the nation for the first time as head of state. Part of his address sought to allay the apparently prevalent fears that fundamental rights guaranteed under the monarchical system would be eroded by a Republican government.
Preserve and defend the Constitution, and that I will do right to all manner of people according to the law, without fear or favor.
The president declared, "Let me make it crystal clear here and now that all those fears are groundless. The fundamental liberties and freedoms of all citizens are the cornerstones of the present Constitution. I give my honest pledge that as long as the present Constitution is operated by my government, things will remain this way. I expect all well-meaning Gambians to realize and live up to their obligations and responsibilities under the democratic society." This first republic ended in 1994, deposed by the military. Momodu Gajaga, QTV News.
The four latest non-resident ambassadors to present their letters of credence are Ambassador of Norway, Ambassador of Tanzania, Ambassador of Guyana, and Ambassador of Sweden. Aliou Cissé reports.
More ambassadors continue to present their letters of credence to President Adama Barrow here at the State House in Banjul. The latest to present their letters are the ambassadors of Norway, Tanzania, Guyana, and Sweden. They have been speaking to reporters after meeting President Adama Barrow.
I had the great pleasure of talking to His Excellency the President about our bilateral relations, the fact that Norway and the Gambia see eye to eye on a number of international issues when it comes to peace and security, development, climate change, environment, and that we can work together on these issues, both bilaterally but also in multilateral institutions and organizations, not least the United Nations, where we both have a strong position and a common position on issues of the UN, the role of a strong and independent United Nations, but also of a reformed United Nations and a Security Council.
My mission is to strengthen, enhance and strengthen the existing relationship, which is excellent between Tanzania and the Gambia. We have good relationship at a bilateral level, that means between the two countries, but also we support each other at multilateral level in international fora. We have been in a very, very, very good terms. Yeah, so my ambition is to promote that relationship to the high heights.
The history of the two countries go back a long time. We are here to build on what has been done before. We are looking at ways in which to work with this country on questions of developing questions of culture, agriculture, forestry, tourism. We also want to have exchanges at the university level so we could begin to work with the young people, because they're the future and we need to find ways to bring the connection that we need to change the dynamics for ourselves and for you and for Africa and the African diaspora, wherever it is. So we are very grateful to be here and we're looking forward to moving our close collaboration together.
I'm really delighted. It's been a great honor for me to present my credentials to the President of Gambia. It's with deep admiration that I represent my country in the Gambia because of the fantastic achievements that you've made when you have created for the past few years. You started to recreate democracy, respect for human rights and rule of law. And Sweden has been very much a partner and a friend and providing support as much as we've been able to, and we will continue to do so, because it's really globally important to have countries that dare promote democracy in a climate where democracy declines in so many other places. That's my first message to the Gambians, that I'm very, very impressed by your fantastic process in bringing back democratic values to your country.
The lead counsel at the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, Issa Fall, Tuesday held a media briefing to update the public on the Commission's recent activities. He also used the opportunity to clarify some of the issues being raised recently by members of the public in relation to the Commission's work. Here is an excerpt.
I must emphasize that the TRRC is not a witch-hunting exercise. It is a victim-centered process that is aimed at establishing the truth about the violations and abuses of human rights that occurred in our country. It is also not a criminal trial. It is for this reason that the Commission endeavors to remove many of the features that would liken the process to a court. The success of the process, however, depends to a large extent on the ability of the Commission to get to the truth of what happened. In this regard, success would be easily attained if witnesses cooperate by providing truthful accounts. False or misleading testimony would only derail the Commission or lead it into error. It is for this reason that the Commission encourages all witnesses, including perpetrators, to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. According to Section 19 of the Act, the Commission may recommend the granting of amnesty under certain terms and conditions to a perpetrator who makes full disclosure of his or her involvement in human rights violations and expresses remorse for his or her own acts or conduct. But Section 15(2)(b) makes it a criminal offense to intentionally provide misleading or false information to the Commission. You know, in everything that people do, there would be critics. Whether the criticism is genuine, whether the criticism is an important one, for some it really does not matter. They just look for one little thing and they criticize. If a group of people out there think that they need to help a particular individual and want to come here and do it, why should we stop them? These are victims, these are people who have suffered. What we want is for Gambians to come out and give generously to them so that we can restore their dignity, so that what they lost can be restored. One of the investigative themes of the NIA, of the Commission, is to have institutional hearings of certain targeted institutions. So we would see what happens. We would investigate certain institutions, and the issue of destruction of evidence would be one issue to investigate with regards to those institutions. So we have to cross that bridge when we get there. But be rest assured that the Commission would not see or would not have evidence of deliberate destruction of evidence and would not do anything about it.
The National Audit Office held a stakeholders meeting on the drafting of a new strategic development plan for 2019-2023. The International Republican Institute funded the meeting with civil society organizations. The expected outcomes are recommendations on the potential intervention areas of the National Audit Office before drafting its strategic plan. Jenaba Sonko reports.
The National Audit Office mandated to promote transparency and accountability. In essence, it is tasked with providing assurance to Gambians on the extent to which and whether the nation's resources are used economically and for its intended purpose. A representative of Performance Audit, Baba S. Drame, spoke to QTV on the potential intervention areas of the National Audit Office.
We have identified one of them is building capacity of National Audit Office staff in terms of audit methodologies, new emerging audit areas like forensic audit, environmental audit, extractive industry. We're also looking at the issue of IT auditing. So we are also looking at developing human resource department because we don't have HR. So those are priority areas that we are looking at as an office. We're also looking at communication because we don't have a communication officer, we don't have a communication unit, we don't have a communication strategy. So these are priorities that the National Audit Office is working on in order for us to be able to get to our outputs and also our outcomes. So this is the reason why we bring the stakeholders here today, for us to interact with them. We sell out our outcomes and our outputs and our capacities to them so that we give them opportunity for them to comment and provide input before we move further with the planning of the strategic development plan.
A representative of Treasury and Ministries and Departments, Ibrahim M. Drame, says the reason why some parastatals outsource their audit activities to private institutions is because the National Audit Office has human resource challenges.
Financial misappropriations or fraudulent activity in any organizations, the Auditor General is required to go and investigate. But there are generally there are also rumors going around to say a fraud has been uncovered or people are corrupt in certain institutions. But if we are aware of any financial fraud in any of the institutions, we are required to do and report to do an audit and then report to competent authorities accordingly. And we've had series of that. One is that if there is fraud in any of the ministries or departments, the Office of the President or the National Assembly can request the Auditor General to carry out an audit of that particular institutions to confirm or dispel any perceived or suspected fraud in that organization. And then we've done that for quite few institutions over the past years, and we've reported it to competent authorities.
He further explained that their mandate stops at auditing and reporting, and that bodies like the National Assembly are supposed to ensure that audit reports and recommendations are enforced. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenaba Sonko.
The Special Olympics held a family health forum on Wednesday. The forum is aimed at engaging the families and caregivers of people with various disabilities in community activities and offering direct access to health information, resources and support. Ajibinto Drame reports.
The Health Forum is meant to engage families of those with intellectual and physical disabilities to provide a conducive environment for children with intellectual disabilities. The forum brings together professionals to sensitize parents of those with these disabilities on how to get direct information on health education and support. Special Olympics is the leading voice in raising awareness about children and adults with intellectual and physical disabilities, using the power of sports to help realize their potential. In our society, people with disabilities are seen as being possessed and are discriminated against in the society. Parents or caregivers face a lot of challenges in their communities, especially homes. Aji Dombel Jawo, a parent, states the challenges her granddaughter faces. She says her granddaughter is often discriminated against in society and sometimes people raise their eyebrows when they go out. Aji Dombel Jawo says how the organization has impacted positively on the life of her granddaughter. Sometimes, when we go out, people stare at her because of the way she acts. Some people understand her situation. Others think she is mentally unbalanced. The organization has helped us a lot. At first, we thought it was witchcraft. We went to Marabous, but now, with the help of the organization, we understand that it is normal, and they are helping us. Ami Jallo, also a parent, states the challenges she faces as a parent and how society frowns on herself and her child. I encountered a lot of discrimination at my relative's house. That is the reason I left the home and found a place to rent. If I'm out, sometimes they wouldn't give food to my child. It makes me cry. I have suffered a lot since her father divorced me. My child cannot do anything for herself, and I have to help her all the time. During the weekend, I don't go anywhere. This gathering is very important because it's helping my child. Omar Toure, sports director of the Special Olympics de Gambia, says the organization has faced challenges with funds to do their work more efficiently. He adds that there are more activities apart from sports for people with intellectual and physical disabilities, such as employment for them to develop themselves.
It's not been easy. We've struggled a lot. We only started last year, but we faced a lot of challenges like, during things like the sponsorship, especially when we were going for the World Games. We wrote letters to almost all the companies. Apart from sports, the other thing we do is the health fitness, and we are looking forward to, do more apart from those two. Athletes that we are going to school and finished school and don't have anything to do now, maybe provide a little job for them, job opportunities or something, to be part of the communities too.
Abdullah, an athlete, participated in the Special Olympic World Games in Abu Dhabi, where he came first in the 200 meters and third in the 100 meters. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
Before we end this bulletin of the news, a recap of our main stories. The Gambia Police Force, through its Public Relations Office, on Tuesday told reporters at a press briefing that one Mama Barrow had gone to see Boubacar Jallow in Banjul, where she met her death. Mama Barrow was allegedly murdered by a Marabout called Boubacar Jallow, who cut her into pieces and disposed of her remains in 3 bags. Former Junta Vice Chairman Sana Sabali Wednesday told Commissioners of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission that he ordered and participated in the execution of Lieutenant Basiru Barrow, Dotfal and other officers arrested in the aftermath of November 11th foil coup. He also admitted, amongst others, allegations of ordering and participating in the torture of detainees at Malto Prison in September 1994. 24th April marks Republican Day. It was on this day in 1970 that the President replaced the Queen of Britain as head of state of the Gambia. The move to become a republic had been approved by more than 70% of the electorate in a referendum. That's all we have for you in this edition of the news. Join us tomorrow for more news. Thank you for watching.